Hi, everybody. This is PK Anderson. I work in my real life, I work as a safety professional. I have a bachelor's degree in both history and safety and health, but I'm also an author. So I'm author PK Anderson, and I publish currently through just Amazon, but I'm taking my books wide this calendar year, 2022. So, you know how it is. I'm over 50 and uh, COVID sort of just did me in. I mean, I became almost as close to a shut-in as I could possibly be, even though I was going to work and trying as much as possible not to go out. In fact, when my husband and I get invited to a event or something like that, I discuss with him how terrified I am of going out because of COVID. And to make it worse, I was on a COVID tracing team at the facility where I work. So I was constantly having to do those calls and tracing of every COVID case that our facility had. So while all that was happening and becoming a shut-in, all the things that I like to do, like going hiking or walking, just in general, other than us camping at our off-grid property, gone out the window. In fact, we took a trip in July of 2021 after we had finished our vaccine series and it was open for a period of time, and we went to Iceland, and I had such terror over the fact that I was going to walk out to the live lava flows, and it's something that I really wanted to do. But everywhere I was looking, it was saying it was a really hard walk and you wouldn't be able to do it if you were fat or out of shape like I was. So I just decided, I was terrified. So I bought all this stuff. I had to buy us waterproof hiking boots, all these things for our trip to Iceland. And I'm going to be honest, it was a tough haul out to the lava field, but I made it. But I was just terrified about the whole thing, and honestly, um, it was that point I started realizing that my weight was preventing me from doing things that I did in my youth, like skiing. I used to cross country and downhill ski. I used to mountain bike ride. I used to do all these things that just as I've gotten older, a big night for me and my husband seems to be just staying in and watching TV. And it doesn't help that I'm publishing books. I have an online sales. I do online sales in addition to my regular job. So I just decided at the first of the year, I've been having really bad asthma, and I'm on a prescription medicine for asthma as well as have two inhalers. And I knew also that I was having trouble. I'm not a diabetic, but I have been called borderline diabetic. So I knew I was at the point that I needed to do something. And I guess a year ago, my husband and I bought vehicles, and our salesperson had had weight loss surgery down in Mexico, and my sister had also had it done. And he's been very adamant that I should consider doing the weight loss surgery. And I don't know, I don't feel good about doing it. I wanted to find something that I didn't have to take a bunch of supplements, and I didn't have to, you know, I'm not really good with logging my food as much as I should be. So, about a year ago, I had done extensive research into both keto and carnivore, and I was really on the fence about going on carnivore a year ago. And I didn't do it. I was talked out of it. Everybody said it would be too restrictive for me. And so I chose to do it this year. And, I realized it was gonna be a hard conversion. Um, my husband's a big snacker. He eats a lot of food. And I was looking at, I'm just gonna be buying meat. And so, like, a week into the diet, my husband was noticing there was no salads or vegetable side dishes or other snacky type food that I'd been bringing into the house, and so I told them, I'm like, I'm only going to cook meat. If you want anything else than that, you're going to have to create it yourself. So, um, so I just launched the last weekend of January in 2022 to do the carnivore diet, and it wasn't a bad conversion. I was really worried. I had been eating just a ton, I could say a shit ton of sugar and eating a lot of fast food and gosh, everything. And I was really at the heaviest weight I could possibly be at ever, ever in my life. And it's a shameful amount. In fact, it's so shameful I can't even put words to it in publicated form, public forum. So I have that. And I was also at the largest size that I've ever been. And so I started last weekend of January. And here I am, March 6th. My first podcast episode about eating on the carnivore diet. And of course, I decided to make it kind of funny by just saying I put the Carnie, like I'm a weirdo, in carnivore diet because I kind of am. I mean, I'm not a fitness expert, I'm not a nutrition expert. What I am is just documenting what's working for me and what goes really wrong for me. So, and I've actually been very good on the carnivore diet. In fact, I just naturally went to two MAD or two meals a day. And I just in the morning, I have coffee with, I have collagen powder. I've been doing it already for 2 years, so I keep that in my coffee. And just recently, I made a video on carnivore fudge, or it's really just butter that's been browned in a pan. Well, it turned out it's not something I would ever eat on its own, but someone had reminded me that you could add butter to your coffee as a way to get your fat intake up. And so this last week, I've been adding that brown butter into my coffee drink, well, with my heavy whipping cream and collagen powder. And my God, that is like the best thing ever. So I'm going to keep drinking that because I was struggling to eat a lot of meat and stuff with the high fat. So I've just been kind of watching that. I need to find an app to track my food with just to kind of understand. But basically, I'm eating 2 meals a day, no snacking. It's hard to believe in January, I was just hungry all the time. I just was starving. I was munching. I was going to the little food market in our work. I was just constantly getting snacks, constantly eating. Um, in fact, I was having like these issues where I would make food and I'd be jealous that my husband was going to have to eat some because I'd have to share it with him. Now that's pathetic. So, so here I am. I'm already down 25 pounds. I've lost 4% of body fat. And this is episode 1 of my podcast. So I did say I was going to share the good with the bad. So for me, I seem to be going later and later with eating. So in fact, I'm recording this. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the only thing I've had today is my coffee with the butter and the heavy cream. So I think what happens is I get to the point where I'm just so hungry without my body really telling me I'm hungry. I think that has something to do with the insulin resistance that I have. I'm not 100% positive. I am trying to drink liquids all day, so which is a stretch for me. I've never been a big water drinker or anything, so I am trying to drink several cups a day, which most people are like, "Hey, you're supposed to bring 12 or whatever." For me, I could nurse a bottle of water the entire day and never need water. So, for me to have multiple cups in a day, that's a big dang deal. Um, but here I am. It's almost 1 o'clock, and I'm gonna tell you about the meal I have that's waiting for me. So last night, I didn't feel like making dinner because I had bacon and eggs about 1:30 in the afternoon as my first meal of the day. I cooked the bacon up into small chunks or chopped it up into small chunks and then bacon lardons, as they say. And I pan fried those, drained off most of the fat, and then put them back in the pan and added a scrambled egg mixture. And I only actually added 2 eggs. I didn't normally I would eat 3, and I just didn't even add cheese. But for whatever reason that kept me until 7:30 at night. And last night I was kind of in a quandary about what to eat. The night before I had made a really bad cheese pizza, with a cheese crust and then meats. And I only had bacon to put on top. I really wanted pepperoni. I try to do that sparingly, so that's like a once a week treat for me. But I wasn't excited about like cooking myself a burger or anything like that. So instead, I found a recipe for carnivore pancakes, which entails 4 ounces of cream cheese and 4 eggs, and you blend it together. And it said you could add cinnamon. And so that's what I did because I'm like, oh gosh, breakfast for dinner sounds really good. I'm going to try those carnivore pancakes. So I made them. I pan fried them in butter because, I didn't know what to use other than butter. I had an accident with my bacon fat, which I'll detail in another episode of this podcast. But I didn't have any bacon fat available. So I pan fried them up in butter. And I realized as I smelled them cooking, they smelled like almost like cake or something, and just inspired this carnal need to just devour these pancakes as they were coming out of the frying pan. And they would take a long time to cook. I mean, basically it's eggs and cream cheese and you're browning it on both sides. But it is a very thin batter, so it spreads over the entire pan, which I always have a love-hate relationship with pancakes because if I can't contain them to a small side, I don't flip them very well. But first one out of the pan, I put even a little bit more butter on it and I ate it. And my God, it tasted like the best thing ever. It tasted like Dutch baby. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had Dutch baby before, but that was like a special treat breakfast in my household growing up. So I ate it, and then I was anxiously awaiting the next one to come out of the pan and devoured that one. And that's when I should have stopped, but I didn't. I ate a third one. And it immediately, after I ate that, I had 3 more to put away into a container, and then I took one of them back out of the container and I fed it to the dogs because they were like standing around. All 3 of them were drooling while I was cooking, and had what I think they call it the dumping syndrome, where you just have horrible diarrhea. I mean, like, yeah. And I thought, okay, well, that's all the fat that I just ate. That's what your body does if you eat too much fat. It just dumps everything. Well, so I thought it was fine. Didn't happen again. I was working on my computer and taking care of some laundry and cleaning and stuff before I went to bed, and I read myself to bed. So, um, all of a sudden, I got up to go use the restroom, and I just needed to throw up, and I threw up for like 15 minutes. I think that I totally overloaded my system with fat, and I had no idea. I mean, like, my body wasn't telling me anything was wrong. So I don't know. That's the meal that I have waiting for me right now. I'm kind of dicey. Maybe I'll take like half of it, try half of what's there in the dish and see if that works for me. Tonight I'm making tri-tip roasts. We're gonna have one tonight for dinner and then split the other one for lunches for both me and my husband for tomorrow when I go back to work. But the pancakes were delicious. I'm not gonna lie. but I'm a little terrified to try them for round 2. So I think I'm going to eat them very slowly and kind of pay attention to how my body and stomach and gut are feeling and see how that goes and try not to just binge on everything. I'd probably do better if I had like some meat with it too. So I might check into that and figure out what I could do about that. But anyway, so there's the good, the bad, and the ugly about carnivore diet. I'm a big proponent of listening to your body. I got in a situation where I had to eat the Kirkland protein bars that I used to eat all the time on keto, and I have a supply of them, 2 boxes of them at my work, and I had to work really long hours the other day, and I ate one of those, and it was like an instant terrible headache. So that tells me I can never eat those protein bars again. Those react badly in my body, and that's what I've been doing. It's helping me because I see a lot of people that eat ketovore, so they're kind of carny, kind of ketovore. Well, obviously, protein bars are not on the docket for me, so it's not going to be a good fallback. I'm going to have to rely just on my emergency bacon if I need a snack when I'm at work. So that I will talk about another day. All right, so this is PK Anderson. I am hoping you might join me for my carnivore diet journey and watch my progress because this is a video podcast. We'll see how I start changing and how I look. So, talk to you later.